Today I want to show you how I turn a Folgers coffee can into a reservoir pot for my indoor herbs. To do that, I'm going to take, obviously, an old plastic Folgers coffee can and this circle cutter that I found at a craft store. These are wonderfully useful things. If you ever need to cut a circle, it's worth the $2 or $3 it's going to cost you to buy one of these. And then of course, I'll be using my pocket knife to finalize some of the details. First of all, you're going to want to make sure you find a pot that's going to fit inside your container without looking, well, ridiculous. So I'm going to take this and score around the edge a little bit. And the pen tip in the plastic will give me a general idea of just where I need to cut. I'm going to put that aside though, flip over my container, and grab my circle cutter. The dial on the side of this allows me to move it to whatever size I need. And in this case, I think I want it slightly larger than the bottom of the pot. So I'm just going to tighten that up again once I've got it at a position that I want. I'm going to put my circle cutter right on that dot that represents the very center of the lid. And slowly start to drag my cutting edge along the plastic. With a newer cutting tool, this would be much easier, but unfortunately I made the mistake of leaving this out in the rain on more than one occasion, and it's a little rusty, so not quite as sharp as it used to be. Guess it kind of reminds me of me that way. So there you have it, a perfect circle removed from the top of the lid. Now I'm going to take my pocket knife and I'm going to slice in a few different places right up to the edge. I'm not too worried about precision. I just want something that's going to create a barrier that will hold my container in place when I fill it with soil and place it in the reservoir. Quite simple so far. In some of my previous wicking container videos, you'll notice I used an old dog towel. As a good friend of mine pointed out, this wasn't necessarily the best way to go. And let's face it, when I went to water them, it smelled like old wet dog. Who needs that? Since my garden is all about testing theories, have you ever noticed when you step in a puddle just how fast a dragging shoelace will absorb water? I have. So I picked up a pack of 8 shoelaces from the dollar store, and for this experiment, we're going to try those for the wick in my reservoir. Clearly this is much longer than I'll need. But having the shoelace tips should certainly make it easy to run through the bottom of the pot. Sure looks like that fits to me. So what am I going to do with all this extra shoelace? Tie a knot in it. And tuck it through again. Now that doesn't do a very good job of covering those bottom holes, so I'm probably going to lose a fair bit of dirt when I first put it in here. Wait, I have an idea. I'll be right back. What could be more appropriate than using a coffee filter? It looks to me like that fits perfectly in there. So I'm going to put some soil in next. Now that's pretty much ready for whatever I decide to put in there. What I have here are some key lime plants that I started from seeds that I got from key limes that were reduced to clear from the produce department. We figured, hey, I wonder if it's got seeds. It did. So we went, hey, I wonder if they'll grow. And they did. So let's put one of these into a nicer container and we'll move it inside and see how it looks next summer. Now that I've pulled that up, it looks as though there are 3 key lime plants that will be going into this container. But wonderful, lovely, strong roots they have. So I'm encouraged that they'll probably live and do quite well. Now that I have my plants in there, I'm just going to top up the soil level a little. Clean the dirt off of those guys. And here we have a container ready to go with what should be a fairly effective wick. Now we just need to fill the reservoir. Before I set this all up and set it in motion, I'm going to take my water jug and test my theory and just see how well a shoestring will wick up that water. I don't know if you can see how well it's climbing in the picture, but this is certainly moistening nice and quick. I'm going to say I'm happy enough with those results that I'm going to fill my reservoir. Wick in first. Now because I cut those slits in the side, I should be able to just press this down and I have a fairly snug fit. Now that this is set up, we're going to need to make sure that the wicking functions nice and efficiently so that those roots can get a good dose of the water that's waiting for them at the bottom. The string, or the shoelace, at the bottom will do this eventually, but to speed up the process and to wash off some of the dirt from my transplanting, I'm just going to give them a quick spray. And that should do it. Thank you for watching our show today. Have a great day and happy gardening.